Hi. In this session, we are going to talk about projects' objectives and trade-offs of making decisions on those objectives. So, what I'm going to explain to you, and we can discuss about that, is that projects have three objectives: time, cost, and scope, and they are interdependent. Another thing that I will raise up is the dynamism in projects. So a project manager must understand that these objectives are interdependent and one objective affects another. Then another message here is that projects are really dynamic in terms of having surprising events, and they require reacting during the project, and decisions must be made on these three project objectives. So, the project's three objectives are time, scope, and cost. And these objectives are interdependent. So if you, for example, reduce time, you probably have also to let some functionalities or features go from the project end product, that is the scope, or reducing time might increase costs due to acceleration and so on. And we have certain tools to manage these objectives. For managing time, there is schedule. For managing scope, there are technical specifications in engineering database. And for managing cost, there are budgets and estimates and so forth. So by defining what the project's objectives are, we have interesting kind of a multivariable optimization problem where in a way we should reduce time, reduce cost, and increase scope. These kind of aspirations of doing all that are, of course, very contrasting, and we cannot do them at the same time because the objectives are interdependent. But we must know which objectives in certain decision-making situation during the project is more important than another. Now, when a project manager faces surprising situations during the project and starts making decisions on these objectives, he must really know which objective is more important than another. So in a way, we cannot be in this corner, because being in this corner would mean that the scope and cost would be equally important. For the same reasons, we cannot be in our decision-making in this corner either, nor in this corner, because two other objectives would be equal. Actually, our emphasis on decision-making cannot be in the very center of this picture either, because then that would mean that all objectives would be equally important. There are also some areas here which would be get out areas because of the scope and time being as important, and here and here. So there are only few areas that we could position ourselves in certain situations when making those important decisions during the project of what to do and which objectives are more important than the others. Now, in the next picture, I'm going to also explain a little bit the business aspect of these three objectives by involving a customer and the customer's benefit or value into this picture. So actually the scope is connected to the end product of the project, and that's actually what the customer benefits from. So in this picture, we have illustrated how the benefit or value for the customer is produced by the scope, or the customer appreciates actually the scope or end product that it gets at certain point of time. And therefore, the customer is willing to pay for that end product. So the customer pays a price actually for getting this end product or scope delivered to him. And this customer's price, of course, is the actual revenue for the project supplier. And the project supplier can make a profit getting the revenue against the costs that it incurs by making the project. So we can assume that any project has a customer. The project can be internal or external, but it's very useful to also understand that the project is always done for someone. And we call that party now here a customer. And this illustration that I just showed to you was a kind of a little bit exaggerated commercial aspect of delivering the project to someone who really pays for that. But many companies are nowadays solution providers, and they do their solutions by projects, and that's why I think that this is most viable. Do you have any questions? Okay. Thank you for being part of this, and we see in the next session. Thanks.